Well, last time it looked as if the search for the Kerwood Derby had ended. For in one of his better fiendish plans, Boris hypnotized Bullwinkle and sent him off to look for the fabulous bowler.
You must look for a derby. A derby.
A derby. A derby.
And in just a little while, Bullwinkle stopped and shouted,
"Where's the derby now?"
See, fearless leader? When I fiendish plan 'em, they stay fiendish plan.
But look what derby he's pointing at.
Roller derby. Uh-oh. Try again, Moose.
And the hypnotized Bullwinkle tried his best. After a long hike, he pointed out the Kentucky Derby. And after a still longer hike, he pointed out the Brown Derby. But when the trio returned to Peaceful Valley, he still hadn't found the Kerwood Derby.
And what's more, look who's coming.
Sure enough, high above them, Rocky Squirrel was blazing a streak in the sky as he sought his pal.
Bullwinkle, where are you?
Did somebody call?
Quick, he's coming out of it.
Listen, Moose. When you wake up, you will look for the Kerwood Derby. The Kerwood Derby. Do you understand?
No, but I'll do it anyways.
Good. Now let's go before that nosy squirrel shows up.
No sooner had the villains hidden themselves than Rocky zoomed into the scene.
Bullwinkle! Bullwinkle, it's you!
It is?
Don't you recognize me?
I don't even recognize me.
I'm Rocky.
You sure are.
Don't you know me?
The voice is familiar, but I don't place the goggles.
I'm Rocky, your pal. We've been buddies for years.
What have you done for me lately?
Oh, come out of it, Bullwinkle.
Rocky, it's you.
Boy, you look like you're in a trance.
Yeah, but don't I always?
Something awful funny's going on in Peaceful Valley, Bullwinkle.
Really? I haven't heard a laugh yet.
What do you think?
I think I ought to get a derby.
What?
I don't know what it is. I just gotta have a derby.
It's working, fearless leader. You can always count on Hotshot Badenoff.
This is no time to buy a hat, Bullwinkle.
I can't help it, Rock. I got to find me a derby.
And Bullwinkle, still under Boris's control, began a hunt for a hat. And the first place he went to, of course, was a hat store.
So that's where we find the Kerwood Derby, eh, Badenoff?
But
Dozens of our smartest secret agents have combed the world for that derby. What chance do you think a stupid moose has of finding it in an ordinary hat store?
not very good, eh?
No chance at all, Mr. Not-So-Hotshot Badenoff.
Fearless leader.
What?
Give us a little smile.
Schweinhund!
Forget it.
You know, I think we shorten your name, Badenoff, from Hotshot to just Shot.
Meanwhile, inside the store, Bullwinkle was trying on hat after hat. None of them fit very well.
I can't understand it, sir. I've tried every size derby we have.
What size do you usually take, Bullwinkle?
Regular moose size.
What's that?
7 and 5/32.
7 and 5/32.
Unless I just got a haircut, then it's 7 and 3/32.
But nobody carries that size hat. It's ridiculous.
No derby, huh?
Now, wait. Just a minute. Now, there's one hat that's been on our shelves for years and years. Maybe.
And the clerk climbed a high ladder and from a dusty shelf took down a hat box covered with cobwebs.
Does it have the size marked on it?
Let's see. Nope, just the name of it.
What's that?
As far as I can make out, it says the Kerwood Derby.
Kerwood Derby?
The Kerwood Derby?
You notice kind of an echo in here?
Oh, don't miss the next episode if you can. Or can't. Or... Anyway, it's called $1 Million Carton or Jack in the Box.
Ah, yes, Prince Hyacinth and the Dear Little Princess. Just about the longest title we've had yet. At any rate, in the Kingdom of Normandy, located near 3rd and La Brea, there lived a king named Dumb the 73rd. You see, that's how kingdoms get their names, from a king named Dumb. Funny?
Oh, why am I laughing? I'm miserable.
Yes, King Dumb was in love with a beautiful queen.
Beautiful, but mixed up. You know what I mean?
Yes, the queen was mixed up, for she was under an enchantment.
And I feel terrible, too.
How's it going, sweetie?
Well, I'd feel fine if I could just get out from under this enchantment.
Yeah.
It keeps hanging on.
Yeah, I know, enchantment. Cry, aye. That stuff went out with a hula hoop. Next thing, she'll be telling me she sees fairies, like that one. Hey, this is ridiculous.
Ridiculous? If it wasn't for our business agent, I'd turn you into a frog.
Your business agent?
Certainly. International Fairies Guild Local 42.
Oh, of course.
But my call sheet says I'm supposed to help you out instead. So, what's to help?
Well, it's the Queen, really. She thinks she's under some sort of enchantment. Now, did you ever...
She got a cat? A cat. Has she got a cat?
Oh, yeah, it's about so big.
Step on its tail.
Step on its tail?
You want to break the enchantment?
Oh, yeah.
So stomp already. Sign here, please.
What's this?
It's your receipt. That'll be $32.50, please.
I'll just sign for it.
Fairy number 53. Mission completed. Over.
Fairy 53, this is Red Fox Leader. Go to 3rd and Spring. Woman with a hair problem. Ask for Rapunzel. Over and out.
Roger.
Step on the cat's tail. Oh, how are you, dear?
Enchanted.
Gargling doesn't help, huh?
Ooh, gargling, aspirins, mustard plasters, nothing.
Maybe if I stepped on your cat's tail.
Are you out of your mind?
I didn't think it was a good idea.
But as King Dumb turned to go...
Is this where I get changed into a frog?
Worse than that, fella. Let me look. You will marry the queen and have a son with a nose like a cassava melon. And until he says to the world, I got a nose like a cassava melon, he'll have a nose like a cassava melon. You got that?
Oh, it seems a little hard.
But if anybody tells him the magic words ahead of time, they shall perish, like instantly. Understand?
Is it over? Am I a frog?
I don't think so, dear.
No, he wasn't. And what's more, the queen was no longer under her enchantment. And so the king married the queen, and they lived happily ever after until their first son was born, at which time the king turned into a frog and was never heard from again.
You know, I sort of expected this all along.
All
hail Prince Dumb the 74th!
Not Dumb, Hyacinth. Prince Hyacinth the First.
But your majesty...
He's just like a sweet little hyacinth with his 2 little eyes and his sweet little mouth and his sweet little button. This is a nose.
Looks more like a cassava melon.
Silence! No one shall make fun of my little hyacinth.
And so the queen declared that everybody in the kingdom should wear a false nose just as big as the princess. And they did. All went smoothly until one day...
Mother dear, I'll be 35 years old tomorrow.
Yes, dear.
And you know, I've never had a girlfriend.
Tomorrow, Hyacinth, you shall have the pick of every girl in the kingdom.
And so the next day every girl in the kingdom was lined up outside the castle wall, all wearing their false noses. All except one.
How dare you? Where is your false nose?
Oh, good gracious, I must have forgotten to put it on.
False nose?
I'll have your pretty head for this.
False nose, Mother?
Oh, it's nothing. Move along, you freak.
But I find her attractive.
With a nose like that?
Oh, come, Mother. There's room for all of us in the world. Big noses, small noses. Kiss me, dear little princess.
But no matter how the prince tried to kiss her, his nose was in the way.
Oh, silly prince, why didn't you take it off?
Take it off? Witty. Very well, my pet. How do I take it off?
Like this!
Mother! You too? Oh, I've been living in a big-nosed fool's paradise.
But, Your Highness, you said there's room for all kinds of noses. Small, big.
Big? My nose is incredible.
Oh, yeah, but you're much more than just a nose.
Let's face it, dear little princess. I've got a nose like a cassava melon.
Okay, move over. What'd you just say?
I've got a nose like a cassava melon.
All right, sign here, please. Thank you. Kazam!
I beg your pardon?
I said kazam. That ends the curse.
But...
Oh, forevermore, I forgot the wand. So rushed lately, I don't know if I'm fading in or fading out. Kazam!
And so handsome Prince Hyacinth and dear little princess were married and
Fairy
lived...
number 53 in service. Go ahead.
Fairy 53, go to 7th and Main. A happy ending isn't working out. Seems the frog wasn't really an enchanted prince after all. Over.
Fairy 53, Roger, over and out.
Well, there it is. Within that dusty box lies the fabulous Kerwood Derby, whose wearer becomes the smartest person in the whole world. And who's about to buy the Kerwood Derby? None other than Bullwinkle Moose himself. And do you know who's the happiest man in the world about it? Boris Badenov.
Don't shoot, fearless leader. Moose has found the Kerwood Derby for us.
Well, Badenov, you locked in again.
Sure. As soon as Moose gets Derby, we take it from him. Then we rule the world.
We?
You rule the world, old boss fella, baby doll.
Meanwhile, inside the hat shop...
Are you sure that's the right size, Bullwinkle?
It says right here 7 and 5/32.
That's it. Now I'll just...
One moment, sir. That'll be $8 even.
$8?
Even.
We don't have $8 even.
If we had $8, it'd be odd.
Then I'm sorry. This box goes back on the shelf.
Badenov, the moose must get that hat.
Leave it to me, fearless leader.
Gee, I sure wanted that Derby, too.
Well, hello. Are you ready for your question on our Moose on the Street quiz?
Who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm your genial radio quizmaster, Art Looklater. Now, for $8 cash even, answer this one question. Who is buried in Grant's tomb?
Gee, I was reading about that just the other day. Do you know, Rock?
Sure, but I can't tell you. That'd be cheating.
Go ahead, I'm not listening.
Sorry, Bullwinkle.
Okay, I ask another question. For $8 even, tell me, do you know Planck's constant of quantum mathematics?
No.
That's right. No, you don't. Congratulations. Here's the $8 even.
Gee, thanks, Mr. Looklater.
Think nothing. Happy hat.
So, clutching Boris's $8 even in his hot little glove, Bullwinkle re-entered the hat shop and walked out with a hat box which, unbeknownst to our heroes, contained the fabulous Kerwood Derby.
You haven't tried your new hat on, Bullwinkle.
See, that's right.
And the mighty Moose removed the baffling bowler from the box and put it on his head.
Say, it fits like a dream.
Yeah, and the square of the hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the two sides.
What?
I said the orbits of periodic comets have an aphelion at a distance of 77 AU from the sun.
Bullwinkle, what are you saying?
I don't know. It's just that la plume de ma tante est sur le bureau de mon oncle.
Bullwinkle, you're talking French.
Oui.
But you don't know French.
Non, je ne parle pas français.
It was then that Rocky noticed thin trails of smoke coming out from underneath the bowler.
Hokey Smoke, your head's on fire.
And Rocky snatched the Kerwood Derby off Bullwinkle's smoldering scalp and fanned his brow with it.
What happened, oh fearless leader?
It's obvious, Badenov. The moose simply was not used to thinking. His brain overheated.
Do we grab the Derby now?
As we say in Pottsylvania, why not?
But suppose they snitch on us to the police.
Dead men tell no tales.
What about dead mooses?
Also,
Hot diggity! You mean I get to steal Derby and knock off moose and squirrel?
Badenov, be my guest.
You know, oh fearless leader, you're really a fun villain.
And Boris whipped out a large battle axe and began to creep up on our unsuspecting friends. Meanwhile, back at the Moose...
There, you've stopped smoldering.
I was pretty hot stuff for a while there, though.
I wonder what happened.
I don't know. I just put this hat on and said I just figured there's a fiendish plot against us, Rocky, and somebody's hiding behind that bush right now.
Well, Bullwinkle was smart enough, but was he soon enough? We'll find out next time in Two at One Blow or The Double Beheader.
It's guest speaker time at the Bullwinkle and Rocky Fan Club, and here to discuss how to get elected is that well-known political expert, me.
Oh, boy, if that's political expert, I'm Little Miss Moffat.
The first step in getting elected is to get nominated. We're now open for nominations.
I nominate Captain Peach Fuzz.
Thank you, Rocky, and I nominate you, too. Is regular mutual nomination society.
Any more?
Queen Marie.
But she doesn't belong to our club.
So we lower our standards a little and let her join.
Any more nominations? So far, it's Rocky, Captain Peach Fuzz, and Queen Marie.
Bullwinkle?
Thank you, Rock. I accept the nomination. Nominations are now closed. Now the rugged campaign starts. Speeches, rallies. And so, my friends, I ask you, do you want honest leadership?
Yes!
Do you want intelligent leadership?
Yes!
Do you want Bullwinkle Moose?
No!
Funny, it says yes here. How am I ever going to win this election? Bullwinkle and Rocky Fan Club.
Bullwinkle, did you vote yet?
Yeah, I'm the first one here.
Congratulations, you win by landslide.
How's that again?
Look out window. A landslide is blocked only road to clubhouse. Nobody can vote but you.
Then you mean Rocky won by a landslide. I voted for him.
there, Peabody here, and that is my trusty boy, Sherman.
Hi.
Who will assist me in our next exciting adventure back into history.
Shall I set the Wayback Machine, Mr. Peabody?
Please do, Sherman, but I suggest you use both hands, for we are going way back with a way back this time, to the year 50,000 B.C. to be exact.
50,000 B.C.?
That is correct, and the place will be Neanderthal, near Dusseldorf, where we shall meet the first caveman. Sherman and I entered the Wayback and were instantly whirled back in time to the period when the fourth glacial age was rising toward its maximum. But no sooner had we arrived when I immediately realized that something was amiss.
Mr. Peabody, we're moving. What's happening?
I think that if you will look down, Sherman, you will see that we happen to be on a very precarious perch. Which, now that I think about it, was probably the understatement of the year.
Yipe!
Well, at that moment, the great beast passed beneath a large tree. So, instructing Sherman to follow my example, I grasped the nearest limb and we swung to safety.
Phew, that was a close one.
We then prepared to climb down from the tree, but we suddenly heard a strange sound.
Ugo, mift. Mift nicht du?
What's that?
Offhand, I would say that we are not alone in this tree.
Moop, moop, ni poop.
Miff, 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 miff.
We're in luck, Sherman. There is the perfect example of Homo neanderthalensis.
You mean cavemen?
Well, obviously not cavemen if they're living in this tree. We were unable to understand what they were saying, but we watched them closely from our vantage point.
Ik het nun moved, ook het flap.
Mok het flit op.
Aga ik het nun moved.
Sprit vroeg niet niet. Nappa, let's cram on top.
Sheesh.
What was that all about?
It would seem to indicate they realize there's a better way of life than living in a tree. Come, Sherman, we'll follow them and see what develops. And what developed was most interesting indeed, for in their first attempt to find a better place to live, they passed right by a perfectly good cave and squeezed under, of all things, a wet rock.
Zup nub et noep.
Miep nok, skruik mief.
Noek mom zip bord zagnat.
Skreet, lit gram.
Once more, bypassing the cave, they next tried a gopher hole, but the gopher objected. Those prehistoric gophers could be quite objectionable. In the next 2 hours, they tried to live in everything from bushes and brambles to stumps and hollow logs, but still didn't give the cave a second look. I used the Yang Na Indian hand signs in an attempt to explain the merits of living in a cave.
Sig nu kron niets.
Ook neem ik mief nok een cashew.
They still don't get it, Mr. Peabody. Maybe if I go into the cave, they'll get the idea.
No. But before I could stop him, Sherman was in the cave. But not for long.
Meow! Mr. Peabody, there's a saber-toothed tiger in that cave.
I noticed that, Sherman.
It's no wonder those two wouldn't go inside. Gee, they'll never become cavemen at this rate.
Yes, they will, Sherman. It's a simple matter of getting the saber-toothed tiger out so they can go in.
Simple?
Quite, Sherman. Come. Pulling up a very special bush that I'd happened to notice earlier, I tied it to one end of a long vine and instructed Sherman to tie a large round boulder to the other. Next, I tossed the bush into the cave and signaled to Sherman to roll the boulder down the hill. As it rolled, it pulled the bush after it. And, as I knew it would, the saber-toothed tiger bounded out of the cave, happily following the bush down the hill until he was lost from sight.
Hooray! You did it, Mr. Peabody! But how did you know the tiger would follow that bush?
Elementary, my dear Sherman. That bush happened to be Nepeta, or more commonly known as the catnip. The tiger, being all cat, found it impossible to resist. And now, being free to enter the cave, our two friends quickly did so and immediately set up light cave-keeping.
At last! They're now real cavemen, huh, Mr. Peabody?
Yes, and others were soon to follow their example. Soon everybody was living in caves. But this brought another problem that man had to face, the paying of taxes.
Taxes? Wow, that is a big problem.
Of course, Sherman. We all know that everything is big in taxes.
It never fails to amaze me how he can stand there and say such corny things with such a straight face.
Ugala soon fits.
this time, you remember, our heroes actually got hold of the Kerword Derby, which just happened to be the right size for Bullwinkle.
7 and 5/30 seconds.
And sure enough, when Bullwinkle put it on, he became an absolutely brilliant thinker.
In the Paleozoic era, the Cambrian period was followed by the Ordovician, Silurian, and Devonian.
What are you talking about?
Don't ask me.
Unfortunately, his brain wasn't used to it and began to overheat. So Rocky snatched off the derby and began to fan Bullwinkle's brow.
Tell me some more about the Paleozoic era, Bullwinkle.
Okay, but first, what is it?
Our boys didn't know that they were merely pawns in the fiendish game played by Boris and his fearless leader.
A game called Rule the World.
Any number can play.
Boris tried to sneak up on our friends carrying a battle axe.
We call it the Pennsylvanian equalizer.
But just as he was ready to swing at our heroes, Bullwinkle put the derby on and said,
The laws of probability indicate that we are pawns in a fiendish plot and that somebody's behind that bush right now.
Boris swung all right, but Bullwinkle's lightning brain allowed him to judge accurately just how far he'd have to duck, and Boris felled a tree instead, a tree which dropped right on fearless leader. The horrified Boris ran to his side.
Fearless leader, what have I done?
First, you have goofed another job. Second, you have shortened your life expectancy greatly.
No, wait, fearless leader. I'll get the derby. Double-cross my heart.
Very well, Badenoff. Your life is spared.
Because you are so kind-hearted and generous?
No, because my gun is jammed.
And Boris once more set off after our heroes.
Gee, Bullwinkle, how come you're so smart all of a sudden?
I just figured it out, Rocket, old chap. This is the legendary Kerword Derby I'm wearing. It imparts a vast amount of knowledge to its wearer.
Then you must be the smartest moose in the world.
Would you like me to explain Einstein's theory to you?
Sure.
Well...
But at that moment, a strong gust of wind blew the bowler off Bullwinkle's beam.
Go ahead, Bullwinkle.
Go ahead and what?
Explain Einstein's theory to me.
Well, I'd be glad to. Just one question.
Huh?
Who's Einstein?
Bullwinkle, your hat's gone.
Uh-oh.
And our heroes dashed after the disappearing derby.
There it is, Bullwinkle.
Sure enough, a derby lay in the middle of the path, but when Bullwinkle put it on...
It looks smaller somehow.
Does fit a little soon, don't it? Maybe it shrunk.
Oh, little did Bullwinkle know, for he had actually put on a counterfeit derby, and inside that hat, a small but powerful time bomb was ticking away the seconds. Oh, who could have done such a... oh, don't tell me.
I got to. He's in the script. Me, Boris Badenoff.
Yes, the...
Ta-da!
Yes, the villain had switched hats with Bullwinkle and now had possession of the fabulous Kerword Derby.
And now I put it on and I rule the world.
You and who else, Badenoff?
Fearless leader. Say, did you ever get that gun fixed?
Yes.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yes, things really looked bad for Boris until a familiar female figure crept out of the bushes on hands and knees and took up a position behind Phyllis Leader.
Welcome, Natasha, baby. Am I glad to see you?
Oh, no, Badenoff. You don't trick me into looking around.
That was all right with Boris, for he pushed Phyllis Leader over the kneeling Natasha and leaped on top of him, biting and scratching.
Oh, Boris, you are so brave.
When it's 2 against 1, I'm always brave.
And the two villains fought fiercely for possession of the all-powerful Kerword Derby. Oh, which one will win?
What does it matter? We're both bad guys.
Gee, that's right. Well, be with us next time for Flower in the Hat or the Rose Bowler.